Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane.
Morning.
Yes,
Hi, Frank.
Those two characters. Those two jokers.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, we hope.
I used to have one of those stop police action. Well, is that what they were called? They used to show. There used to be videos called something police action stop.
Oh, was that the Shaw Taylor one? Or
No, when they started using celebrity voiceovers, but they used to use actual policemen at first. And they used to say things like, "A quiet afternoon on Dagenham High Street until this character arrived." What's this clown up to? That's great. It's ruined forever. Anyway, you don't want to hear about that nonsense. I was actually shocked that Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise are going to get divorced.
Oh, were you?
I was genuinely shocked. I thought they seemed
a lovely couple.
well, yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
thought
do.
it was all signed, sealed, and sorted. I thought with us.
Definitely signed and sealed and sorted.
Well, we don't know that. for certain.
I actually, he's free now though, and I have to say I've met him, Frank.
Have you met him? Well, how is he?
Lovely.
Really? What do you mean to look
Exquisite.
at, or as a man?
Obviously to look at.
Yeah.
No, exquisite. Absolutely exquisite and very charming as well.
Well, you're more of a
It was a
personality type of person.
It was a brief
presumably.
encounter.
Yeah. Were you standing the other side of the metal fence at the premiere? Because he really has set the bar high for how long you're supposed to speak to the crowd.
Well, I
at the
think that's a
premiere.
tactic. I think is this his third divorce? He's just he's deliberately working that crowd. It's like rolling a ball over a pocket in snooker, and
Is that what it is?
He's lining up
he's just
future
seeing
wives
what's
and
out there.
ex-wives. Yeah,
Because he doesn't meet many people on a.
I doubt it.
You
no.
could be on the next list.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Let's call it the short list. Yeah.
Is he really short in real life? You've met him
In real life.
in real life.
I
You've met him.
can't comment on Tom.
Oh, come on, you can't
And now
comment
that
on his height.
I'm in the running now. I've got to be
That's
very
true.
careful.
Don't get
Because
mixed
what's
up with
weird
that.
about the pictures in the paper today is that he seems the same height as various tall women, and I don't know
Well, he's-
how he's done that.
He looks the same height as Nicole Kidman, and
How?
Nicole Kidman is about 7 feet tall.
Oh, she's rangy.
Has he got like a photo version of Nicole Kidman? You know, like the doorway that
I
they used to
think
use in
he's-
cowboy films.
He's got
to make
the
the cowboys
Prince
seem
Charles,
bigger.
Prince Charles and Princess Diana app.
Yeah,
Do you remember their stamp on which they're the same height?
yeah.
And she's a foot taller than Prince Charles.
Really?
Well, she was, obviously. Our Queen of Hearts, I still miss her.
What about Suri though, Frank? She's one of my faves.
Who's Suri now?
Oh, very good.
Yeah, I feel so. It's always tough on the kids. I can't see anything light about that. It's terrible. I tell you something odd, though.
Yeah.
I find I have a very, and this is quite, I think, a complicated thing, and indeed legally sensitive. I have very much the same taste in women as Tom Cruise.
What do you mean?
Well, I think Nicole Kidman is one of my favourite celebrity babes of all time, and Katie Holmes.
Babes is stretching it
Yeah,
with MK.
She's good. Oh no! Have you ever seen her in?
I didn't know about this area.
What's that film, To Die For?
Yes,
No,
I
I
have.
haven't seen that.
Knockout.
She plays a
And
lunatic.
Katie Holmes in that woman, It's the End of the World.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Beautiful. So, what's
Frank,
that say
I never
about me if I have the same taste in women as Tom Cruise?
Yeah, the mind boggles.
It does, yeah. The regular listeners will know I also went to see Liza Minnelli live. a couple of weeks.
And when not there, you're often at the musical theatre,
Yeah,
aren't
and
you?
Emily Dean is a very close friend of mine. And I cried when Mary Beth had her baby in Cagney and Lacey. There's the evidence. We'll leave it there. Do close friends get to call him TC?
Oh, Frank. That's excellent.
Yeah.
I don't.
Even close friends now has taken on it. I think we should
Yeah,
move on.
I think we should.
Who
Definitely.
are his close friends? John Travolta. They're in the same
Put some
subgroup.
music on.
It's Scientologists. You can text us on 8 12 15 and you can follow.
Is that how you're inviting the lawyers to get in touch?
Yeah, they can follow us on Twitter at Frank on Absolute Music.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had a text in. This is from 712. An unusual question. Hi, Frank. Would you consider a move from Catholicism to Scientology? That's Ian in Leamington Spa.
Oh, that's exactly the same move that Nicole Kidman did, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah, and then she went back
Did
immediately afterwards to the Catholic Church.
She
they
came
say
back over
never
to
go
your
back?
lot.
I'm not suggesting that was cynical in any way,
No.
but it was a bit like when Beckham went to LA Galaxy and then came back to play for Inter Milan, when he thought, like she thought, oh God, I can get back in the proper religion again. Not that I have any. Don't get me wrong, I'm not making any derogatory remarks about the Scientologists. I'm not out of my mind. No, we've all, my father's house has many mansions.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but
Not as many as Jimmy Carr's house, can I point out?
I love a personality test as well. I love
Yeah.
having my personality tested on
They
a
offer
daily
that, don't
basis.
they? They
Yes,
offer
they
that.
do. Have you ever done it?
No, I haven't. But
I've
you
seen.
go
Are
in,
there
don't you?
other people in the street? Are they who take free personality
Yeah,
tests?
they're quite good-looking people in the street.
They're always good looking, but a little bit odd.
Right.
Ooh, I think I've been out with many of them. I'm surprised they haven't drawn me in. I'm just glad anyone who follows any religion in this godless society we live in today. This is
Oh.
Absolute Radio,
Awkward.
ladies and gentlemen.
You looked at me then as well while saying that.
Did I? That was sorry
You
about
looked
that.
at me. You
That
gave
was
me a
instinctive.
penetrating stare while saying "godless society."
Well, you've made a few remarks I've allowed to let pass, but don't think they haven't hooked on my inner being.
Oh, okay. Don't worry.
Frank, we've also had a tweet in, because people can tweet the show. Did you know?
Tweet
Yeah.
away.
They can tweet us on what is it?
At Frank on Absolute.
Thanks.
This is from Maureen.
Maureen on 11101, whatever it's called, from that advert that we play occasionally. I say occasionally.
She says, Buzz looks so sweet and you very much hands-on. Great to see. Now, I know what that's a reference to.
Yes, I should say that Buzz is my baby boy, and I got papped. He had his first. Well, he's had a bit of newspaper coverage, but his first
Yeah.
photograph this week.
Well, it wasn't just Pat. You made it into what I call the column of shame
Yes, I did.
on the Daily Mail Online.
Daily Mail Online, where people
Why
they
is it
love
the column
photos.
of shame?
That's what it's called.
Is it actually?
That's what people call
I
it.
don't think it's actually called that in the paper.
No, in my head it is.
Oh, I thought it was in the paper.
No, no.
I thought it was like the Circle of Shame in the magazine.
Or the
No.
Walk of Shame on
Yes.
Oh, I'm very
On a
familiar with
Sunday
that.
morning.
Weakest Link.
Oh,
It used to be
I
the Walk of Shame.
But it's one of the little gossip squares, and there was a lovely picture, some lovely captions.
I thought I looked a bit grey.
Oh, I thought you looked lovely. Strange captions. Dr. Water, it said repeatedly.
Dr. Water.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's taken to it like a Dr. Water.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
I thought, because I saw it in the paper and thought, oh, Frank's wearing the outfit he had on last week, and then thought,
That's exactly
it
what I
probably-
thought.
It probably was after the show.
I have to admit, it was the previous day.
Oh, no way.
Oh, my God.
My showers are intermittent since I've become a father.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
be honest
I'm
with
glad
you.
that-
I
All
was
slides
wearing
a
a
bit.
denim jacket, which I think is. I mean, a 55-year-old man in paper with child
No,
in denim
Frank.
jacket. It's like it's a midlife crisis.
It's a bit Francis Rossi, but
It was.
I was
Can
pleased.
I say though? I looked at that denim jacket and thought, oh, that looks a bit youth. And then I noticed there was a pen in the pocket, and the pen was the Sun Life insurance pen that Michael Parkinson says you could have free just for inquiring when he advertised his death on daytime television. So there was a fabulous mix of the old and the young in one outfit. I was pleased with that.
I like that the denim gingham combo got pictured for posterity, because I
Yeah.
like that.
Not everyone can carry off gingham.
No.
There's me, Judy Garland,
That's
and
it.
one other Hollywood star I can't
Yeah,
name.
I can't
And
think
that's
who it
it.
is. Kath was on the phone.
Yeah, my girlfriend. It's good that, because I'm carrying the baby in the picture, and she's on the phone, and it looks like, oh God, his girlfriend's so media. It's just business as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was actually phoning the doctor to see if she could come in and see him that morning about her gastroenteritis. She'll love me for telling you that. At least it doesn't make her sound all media. Oh, adverts and all that stuff.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had a text in.
We've had a few, haven't we, on 8, 12, 15? There we go.
Over to
Slick
you,
that,
Alan.
Slick that
So,
one.
yeah, I-
No, which one were you going to read? I'm interested.
Well, I was going to read the one from 299, who says, what are your thoughts on David Beckham being left out of the Team GB football team? That's James and Beckenham.
Not in Beckerman,
No.
eh? What if he'd been in Beckerman?
You're on fire.
No, I think that's
Well, you're actually on
I
fire.
think that's the drains.
It was a bit shocking, though, wasn't it?
I felt a bit sorry for him, but he has sort of become the mascot type figure, hasn't he?
Do you think?
Yeah.
But then again, he could have been a mascot that's really good at free kicks, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could have been that.
Could have just brought him on for that.
I do feel him. I mean, I just, isn't it the England manager Stuart Pearce saying, "I'm a football man, I'm not swayed by sentimentality."
Oh, he's not sentimental.
I'm a hard man.
That psycho is definitely not sentimental.
I think a lot of psychos are quite sentimental if you read their biographies.
Yeah,
they like
love
to stroke
their
a cat and things, don't they?
Yeah, like Craig Bellamy, for example, who's replaced Beckham in the squad. He's a psycho, but he does a lot of charity work.
Lots, yeah.
Yeah, so, the craze also.
A lot of celebrities weighed in. James Corden weighed in.
What did he weigh in at?
He broke the scales, I believe. He said, it's disrespectful, which I think is a very Disney football fan thing to say. It's quite my gaff, my rules, that.
He sounds like he might say soccer. Although he did a football show, didn't he, James? He's a mate, isn't he, of Beck's?
Oh, is he?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Ronan Keating said...
Ronan Keating got involved.
Ronan Keating.
Who rattled his Irish cage?
Not even British.
Who rattled his cage?
Good point.
Somebody picked him up. Did you see somebody picked him up in the paper this week?
Oh, that's a shame, because he's little, isn't he?
So they physically picked him up,
Really?
larking
Picked him
around
up?
in a VIP
I thought you meant corrected him on something.
No, they hoisted him.
That's cruel,
Wow.
because he's very little.
What by? What did they hoist him by?
I
Like
don't
his
know.
Y-fronts or something?
don't
Was it
know.
like a wedgie that just went wrong? They
I
forgot how
imagine
small he was.
It was like if you got his crotch in the crook of your elbow and then stood up. I imagine it was like that. But he was out. He said he'd been disrespected.
No, he said... Ronan described him as capable, which I thought...
Yeah, which is damning.
I've been
indeed,
described as
for folk.
capable before.
He's still extremely capable. Was it something like he's still definitely capable or something like that?
I just hope
It's
he
not
sent
nice,
that tweet while he was still hoisted in the air.
Yeah.
That he was up there long enough to think, well, I might as well. Yeah.
Does he go to the U2 clothes shop, Frank? I don't know if he's a regular purchaser there.
I reckon if
Does he go
you
to the
got...
U2/Anton Deck clothes shop, Ronan
that
Keating?
small black jackets. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't
He
know.
once waved to me at Party in the Park. I arrived late and he was on stage and he waved to me.
Is that right?
Oh, was that during Roller Coaster? That's one of your favourites.
And
It'd be
then
funny if he'd waved and then looked at his watch as to say, and what time do you call this, Frank?
yes, but it was a bit of that, but like in a friendly way. And I thought, it doesn't get any better than this. Then I realised I was seated next to Leslie Josephs. So it was a great day out.
I reckon if you got Bono, Tom Cruise and Ronan Keating all together, I could juggle the three of them. Never mind just lift one of them. I think I could juggle
I'd
a
like
lot.
to see that.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
I'll tell you something. That's a bit of a. They're mates, aren't they, Beckham and Cruise?
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
Both
They
had
are,
a
mates.
terrible week.
They've not had a good week, you're right.
No, but that'll be dread. I can imagine them sitting at the end of a bar. Tom obviously on a couple of cushions. Just
They could
shaking their heads.
If they went to a gastropub, Tom could go in one of the high chairs.
I'm so relieved you said gastro.
Exactly. And
My heart was in my mouth.
Beckham, I think, could accompany him into any bar with that beard. Oh dear, here we go again. No, he looks like. Have you ever seen The Producers? That film. And there's that man in it as a producer, Debris, who wears a ball gown. He has a sort of an assistant who has the same beard as David Beckham has now.
I like that beard. It's good.
I think it's the biggest mistake David Beckham has ever made, and I include his marriage.
God!
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, I'm sorry, I've got a rather deep V, and it's troubling me
I've heard that.
in my T-shirt this morning. Frank.
Okay, a rather deep V in your T-shirt.
Yeah.
I don't look.
There's been a minimal exposure already. Frank, David Beckham, that wasn't the only football
You
disappointment.
know the camcorder blokes, the webcam blokes are going to go
Oh, yeah.
crazy looking for Emily's deep V.
That's why I've covered myself with a Victorian shawl.
I think I have a cape in my bag.
Oh, yeah, that's
If you're struggling. Anyway, yes.
So, did you watch the England game? Well, I know you did.
Yes.
Because I saw a picture of you on Twitter.
Yes, I watched it with David Baddiel at his house, and I haven't watched a game, an England game on telly with David Baddiel for a while, because we're usually at the tournament. I should have been at this tournament, under the auspices of Absolute Radio, but I had a small child and decided it was impossible.
Oh, yeah.
But it was...
Well, you've taken to parenthood like a Dr. Water, haven't you?
I have. I have.
There's one
I think
example
I've
of it.
taken to it more like a dock to the refuse left after an oil tanker goes down. I'm doing my best. I noticed one of the comments on the Daily Mail said,
you didn't.
"Oh, yeah," I had to look, saying, "Well, he doesn't know how to hold him. He looks all awkward and nervous." I thought, I've been doing this 4 weeks. Give us a chance.
And they are quite fragile luggage,
They are.
aren't they?
They
They're
might as well say, "Oh, that baby,
delicate
he's only been
cargo."
around 4 weeks. He can't even use his neck muscles properly. He has to have his head supported."
I thought his head looked lovely, actually.
Oh, his head is lovely.
Lovely.
Oh, he's got a lovely head. Can I just say on that, just moving away from the football for a second, the story of me having a baby called Boz was covered in The Tablet, which is a weekly Roman Catholic periodical I subscribe to. And the bloke in there, Christopher House, who wrote about it, took a very different line to the he's a bit old and it's a stupid name. And he mentions that the Boz's second name, Cody, is named after Buffalo Bill. And he said, there's a good Catholic connection, of course, because as he said, I'm sure Frank knows, which I didn't, was that one of the popes, I think it was somebody the 13th, Leo the 13th or something, went to see Buffalo Bill's Wild West show in 1890, and he told the story of it. He said he was preceded by the Knights of Columbus, and it was such a awe-inspiring spectacle, the Pope arriving, that one squaw fainted, and Rocky Bear of the Sioux tribe fell to his knees and made the sign of the cross.
Wow.
Oh, see, that's how they cover these things. Anyway,
Absolutely.
so it was lovely around David Baddiel's until I spoilt it. It was the first half.
What did you do?
Oh,
Well, I saw the
come on.
picture because David,
Well, it was all happy then.
he tweeted a picture and I commented. I said it looked a bit morning after the night of our civil partnership.
It did look a bit like
It
that.
did.
But we're very close.
Yeah, I gained a lot of football followers, which was interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, but it all looked like it was going swimmingly.
Well, the first half was because Ivor Baddiel was there as well, David's brother.
Oh, yeah.
And David's next door neighbour Jeremy came round, and it was we were
Oh,
all.
that's very sitcom.
It was very non-macho football watching. In fact, we spent quite a section of the first half talking about breastfeeding. And its attendant problems. And then at half-time, I am not making this up, we all went upstairs to look at some kittens. I'm not making that up. Dave's daughter Dolly has got 4 kittens, so we all went up to look at them.
That's
Pick
nice.
them up and stuff.
I was told never to do that.
What? No, it's... Well, I knew Dave. So it's all right. If there's anyone listening, if anyone you don't know says, come and see some kittens.
Yeah.
Unless you recognise him from fantasy football.
In which case it's fine. That
Yes.
caveat's all
By
important.
which case you'll be old enough to look after yourself anyway.
Yeah, exactly. you'd
Now,
think.
you're suggesting when you say it was all good in the first half that things took a turn for the worse.
Well, I
to
don't-
go
you
awry.
know, I've done this to Dave before.
Am I going to have to do an arthritic claw?
I don't think so. It was anyway, what happened was that many years ago, I don't know if I've told this before, but I was on my own at Christmas. I'd split up with a girlfriend, and I was going to stay in and just have Christmas completely alone. And Dave said, "Oh no, I'm going to a Jewish Christmas dinner," which I thought was a bit mocking. But anyway. And he said, "Why don't you come?" And I said, "Well, I don't know any of the people." He said, "I'll phone up and clear it up." And they're all very, very old school friends and stuff. And it was really nice that they had me in, you know, as a sort of yock at a Jewish gathering. And so I turned up and we played that game. You know, when you put names in a hat with and then you have to try and communicate what the name is on the paper without saying anything.
yeah.
And I got Gandhi.
Right.
And I said, very, very famous Indian statesman, went on a lot of
Oh, see,
hunger
I would have
marches.
said international model.
Yeah. Well, he was on a similar... I was saying very famous Indian went on hunger strikes, and he was saying Sitting Bull. I said, no, Indian as in from the subcontinent of India, and he's played by Ben Kingsley, and no, can't get it.
No.
Also known as Barpoo, but nothing. And in the end, I called him a very abusive name. The first word was thick, and the second word can also be used as a verb. But I don't want to spell it out for you. But it honestly, it ruined the day. And then it wasn't quite so bad, but Ivor Badil said this thing that people often say, that there's no point in practising penalties because it's a completely different situation on the night, which always really winds me up when people say that. Because it's not true. You might as well say I don't practice anything because it's not the same on the night. You know, cricketers might say, no point in practising batting because it's much more nerve-wracking when you're out there. Rubbish. Rubbish. And so I said that's a very stupid thing to say.
Oh, my God.
And
you did not say that.
I did say it. And he said, well, I wouldn't say it was stupid. I said, no,
I feel sick.
no, it is stupid. And it created a slight... He didn't...
There was a tension in the air.
It will create an atmosphere
Well,
if you call someone stupid.
Ivor had said to me earlier in the night, I heard I've had a couple of mentions on the radio show. And I said, yeah, they've all been very nice. But then I spoiled the whole thing. But I did apologise to him after, at the car. And I said, I'm sorry I said I didn't actually call you stupid. I said you'd said a
I don't like at the car, like high noon. You met outside in some strange...
Men did their apologies in lamplight.
At the car?
But it was, I shouldn't. It was over the top.
Men do their apologies in lamplight. That should be a quote with your name under it in one of those books of the differences of men and women.
One of the Daily Mail comments described me as a great orator, which I enjoyed very much, whoever did that.
They usually give that praise to Hitler, don't they?
What the Daily Mail do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Dr. Water, Hitler.
Yeah, he certainly was. You can't take that away from him.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Football, that's what we were talking about.
So everything was okay with Ivor Badil in the end?
I apologise.
Did you have a hug by lamplight?
We didn't hug.
You know, one of the things that has annoyed me slightly about the Euros is the commentators on both channels that I've been watching continually mentioning the age of any player over 30 every single time. But my favourite moment of the Euros this year was a shot of Andrei Shevchenko when he was on the bench, who's 35, and they never shut up about that. But, you know, footballers sit on the bench sort of with their feet planted, slightly macho sitting.
Oh, it's a bit like men on the tube,
because,
I find.
Because Shevchenko's 35, he's obviously forgotten to keep up this macho moment. And so there was a shot of him with his legs crossed like that. And he just looked more like Alan Bennett or something than a footballer. I loved that moment.
I collapse into that.
I do it all the time, which made me feel good about myself.
I go that extra step, which isn't really allowed.
What?
Which is
what do you do?
I sort of hook the leg I've crossed over.
Oh, no.
I hook the toe of it around the back of my calf.
Oh, right.
Oh, you don't.
Like a lady in a dress or something.
I also I find Katie Holmes and Nicole Kidman very attractive.
Yes, I know. You've established this.
Yeah.
And you would happily go to a gastric...
pub?
Yes, with...
I'd join a gastric band if I could get the instrument. Well, speaking of looking good... when Balotelli scored the other night, and he took his shirt off,
that was a moment.
What a
and
celebration!
Did that pose. My girlfriend actually, I think for the first time, said "Blimey."
It was quite the size.
She's not a Cockney.
Yeah.
She said, "Blimey, he looks like a Greek statue."
Yeah, he's.
And I thought that wasn't. There was no irony in that. That was just admiration.
Very funny celebration.
I don't want people in the house saying "Blimey."
Don't you?
It's a bit. I know we live in London, but, you know, I try to keep up a barrier.
Good thing you don't date Martine McCutcheon.
Oh, man.
In all sorts of trouble.
She probably sings with, you know, the Doppler effect that Cockneys do. Do you know that? It's like a... And I think it's the Doppler effect. There will be some... Needs a mother bread. Shut up! I don't want an apple. I thought a lot of people are saying that the player of the tournament is Pirlo. The Italian
I like
midfielder.
My Little Pony.
Do you
Andy Carroll? He's my favourite.
Do you not like Pirlo? He's your type.
Oh, do you think?
Do you know him?
Yes, I know exactly what he is because David Baddiel tweeted about him. I know him.
got a
Yeah, he
mullet,
looks
yeah.
like
He's a bit-
Alan Rickman in Harry Potter.
Well, I think
Yes.
he's a bit rat-fink, and I don't like that.
Oh,
It's
really?
a pity because I thought if you Emily Dean went out with him every time you went into a restaurant, they would play.
Oh, excellent. Very good.
Yeah. What about Balotelli's hair? Speaking of that old, tired trope, footballers' haircuts.
Yeah. I don't think...
What's the deal there?
I had a teddy bear, the seam went on the top of its head, and a little tiny bit of stuffing come out, and it's almost exactly the same haircut.
It's a bit Cornish pasty. That top lattice effect.
Yeah. But he's a bit of a character.
He is a bit of a character, yeah. If the papers are to be believed, he's very much a character.
Oh, yes. So,
I've got an IEM, Frank, that I'd like to read out. Have we got time for it?
Yeah, we've got Daisy's nodding her head. Like
sagely.
A dog on the back ledge of a family car in the 1980s.
This is from Paul Callow.
The only ones you see now are the Churchill.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do. I've got one in the studio.
And just before when the music was playing, Alun said, "Oh no!" Exactly. It sounded exactly like a sort of negative version of Churchill the dog.
Frank, this is from Paul Callow. I'm hoping
yes.
he's a relation. You know, I'm a big fan of his brother's work.
Oh yes, Simon.
I have an idiotic eureka moment I thought you may like. I was watching University Challenge a while back. And
we should say these are moments when you realise something after years that you should have realised before.
Yeah. Like the animals went in 2x2 to the Ark for a reason, not just because they were friends with benefits, which is what I thought.
Or to do with the width of the gangplank.
Exactly. And I only just realised that the two teams on University Challenge sit either side of the presenter and not one on top of the other.
Yeah, I do think they sometimes have a shot where you see that, don't they?
They've only just started doing it, I think. You see, yeah.
But it is a deliberate ruse. I think we are meant to believe that. I had an idiotic eureka moment this week.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realise that the hand, you know, the hand on the lottery show.
Yeah.
It looks like an arthritic hand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's got a smiley face built into the palm, a smiling face.
Oh,
have you ever noticed that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Do you know, I never have. I'm going to check that out
So what
now.
it looks like is a sort of colourful cartoon character with like a slightly twisty.
Oh, so it's a bit like a magic eye picture. You can see two things.
Well, I think everyone else must have noticed it, but you two haven't. No, I find that it isn't. It's just that's its love line has worked out that way. Yeah, well, check it out.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215 or follow us on Twitter at Frank on Absolute. I want to say at twice.
I know, darling, you do.
Say. By the way, can I point out before we go a second further in this show that no one in this room had noticed that the lottery hand has got a smiling face on its palm. In fact, the two bent over fingers form its eyes. No one had noticed that, so I'm not an idiot. I'm a pioneer in this room of anti-ignorance.
I bet the cartoonist that did that is punching the air if he's listening to this now.
I bet he's punching it, though, with that slightly twisted hand.
Yes.
That's his actual hand, and it's always like that.
And Daisy, the producer, admitted to doing it twice a week.
The lottery.
She does the lottery twice a week.
Yes, that's how desperate she is to get out of here. Yes. I love it on... do you ever watch Challenge TV?
Not as much as you might think.
Well, if you have things like...
No, because that's one of my phobias, old quiz shows.
Well, the
Make
great
me want
thing
to end my life.
is they'll get something like... there'll be something from the 70s, like Bullseye, right? And Jim Bowen will say, by the way, if you'd like to be on Bullseye, phone up on this number or write to us at blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, he's very right to us.
And they put a caption on the bottom that says, competition no longer open. So people don't write to be on a show that was on in the 1970s. And I think people that stupid, wouldn't it be brilliant if they repeated the lottery show on there? People thinking, yes, I've won 8 million Oh, that was 4 years ago. That's my thought, anyway.
We have actually had a text in from the outside world just now.
Have we?
From 173. By the way, you can text us on 81215. We just said that.
I quite like that text of Daisy. He's very fond of what you're doing while you're listening to the show.
Yeah.
Some people think it's a very traditional radio texting, but because our listeners are quite unusual, they're doing unusual things. They're often like on their way to an elephant slaughter. or something like that.
Let me tell you about Teresa 173. So nice to hear you live in the UK after a year of podcasts in Australia. Name is Teresa, but would love to be number 173. She knows that we call people 173
in a prisoner form.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well, of course, she'd have
Welcome
gone into
back.
prisoner mode.
I was going to say her relatives would know all about that.
Wow, I can't believe we've done an Australian prisoner yet. What next? Man United fans don't live in Manchester.
Can I just say as well, I like to think there was collective responsibility there.
Yeah,
Every one of us was guilty.
It was
I
a
had no
chain
part of it. Although she might not be from Australia, it's in print, innit? You can believe anything. I've had a problem this week with my gullibility.
That was a link, wasn't it?
I've had a problem with gullibility. I've got a gullible problem. I was having an email conversation with a friend who said that they were working in London the next day.
Yeah.
And he put, "I'm really excited. I've never stayed in a hotel before." And I took it at face value and replied, "Really? You've never stayed in a hotel?" And of course, he has stayed in hotels. But I was
Depends on the friend. I've got friends who've never stayed in hotels.
I was going to say.
Well, they've stayed in DSS-friendly hotels. But I
Does
say
the Central
friends.
Reservation count as a hotel?
I've stayed
an open-air hotel.
Hotel Central Reservation on many occasions.
Well, this makes me feel a bit better, because I thought it was one of those things that is kind of believable that somebody could get to adulthood and not have stayed in a hotel.
Oh, yeah.
But then I thought, I've sort
Not
of been...
massively in my world, but
No, that would not be believable. Unless they just hired a villa nearby and thought a hotel was beneath them.
I wonder if it was because it wasn't a face-to-face conversation, so, like, sarcasm and tongue-in-cheek remark, it doesn't work as well in email and text form, does it?
When you can't see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You can't see the tongue-in-cheek, can you?
Yeah, but you don't. You're not looking into their eyes to test them out. It's more difficult. Look, I do believe there is a company that will literally buy any car. Whereas if I was at the live recording of that advert, I might think, oh, hold on, you don't look utterly sincere about this.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But I've been fooled before. Let's face it.
She's Australian, Scottish parents.
That wasn't her. I'm not suggesting it was her.
173.
I was thinking your money will be perfectly safe with AIG.
Oh, Frank. Oh,
Yeah, I've fallen for a few things, and
Have
if the
you?
listeners are waiting for me to say papal infallibility, wait on. No way, Jose. That's what I say.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So, Alan, you were talking about you're a little bit gullible then, you were saying.
Oh, not
earlier.
even just a little bit. I've just remembered another one. When my wife and I were walking along the street about 6 years ago or something, there was a bloke wearing a T-shirt and with tattoos, and I said, "It's a bit cold to just have a T-shirt on." And she went, "Oh, tattoos keep you warm."
Can you believe that?
I believed it for about 3 months, and then she went, I was only joking about the tattoos keeping you warm. I believed it, genuinely.
You don't seem like a naive.
Am I
No,
an
you don't.
idiot savant or something? What does that mean? Hang on, that's a clever
No,
person.
No, you're just idiot.
Oh, I'm just idiot.
You must have heard the song "Naive" from the Halfway Line.
No, I haven't.
It's a naive is someone who is naive.
Oh, I know that, but I said
But then-
idiot savant, but I was just an
Idiot
idiot.
savant is someone who is a mixture of
Oh,
being
right.
completely inadequate in life and having strange flashes of genius.
It's a bit.
I'm
You're a
not
bit of
that
a Peter
either.
the Wild if you're an idiot savant.
You remember at the Rain Man when they dropped, was it sort of...
Oh, the matches.
Matches, and he
Yeah,
counts, he knows how many
Yeah.
exactly that falls on the floor.
Daisy, the producer, once told me that she told her boyfriend that there are no speed restrictions in France, and he
France.
believed that.
That's an amazing
it
vowel
seems to be
sound.
quite
Say
a
that
lot.
again.
Quite a lot of the
France.
French seem to believe that as well. Having driven on their motorways.
There's no drink drive restrictions either,
No.
I don't think.
The cockerel's laughing at the way I pronounce France.
That's amazing.
En France, it's
Thank
all
you.
right.
I
I
think
used
could
to like
work
Jimmy
hard.
Young's Sur le Continent. Is he still alive, Jimmy Young?
I don't know.
I shouldn't imagine so.
Okay, well,
Let's be honest.
okay, let's
What are the
imagine.
chances?
Let's imagine he's
Really?
demolished.
Someone will text and let us know. Won't
They won't know who he is, will they? I don't know. Average age of this show, is it 38?
38, black clothes.
Anyway, if there's anything, I'd like
Converse.
to... What about if our listeners have been fooled by anything? Gullibility? They could let us know, because we never asked for any text sends this morning. I feel we're neglecting them.
Yeah. What have you believed?
I believe once a man in on holiday.
Oh, hold it. Hold it. Just think this through before you actually say it.
No, I know this doesn't happen to everyone, but this man, he was very good looking. Anyway, he told me he was Giorgio Armani's son, and I believed him. And I'm not going to lie, that's partly why I found him attractive.
Yeah.
And then I found out it was a complete lie, and an Italian man said, "Oh, you don't believe that? They tell that every tourist. Giorgio Armani must have 1,000 sons." Apparently it's a very common lie.
Really?
Yes.
It's also a
And
good
who knew
lie, though,
everyone
isn't it?
else was as shallow as me?
See, I tried a similar lie. It didn't work at all for me.
What did you say?
Mind you, I did say I was Jean-Paul Gaultier's son. I think there was a basic flaw in that. Pelvic floor as well, I should think. Like an ox. So, don't know what that means, but I like the mysterious sound of it.
Frank, are you ready to hear about my Wimbledon jaunt?
Oh, yeah, of course. You actually went.
I did actually go. I did. I quite like the tennis, but I've never had the full-on live experience.
No, I've been there. I've been there.
Have you?
It's lovely.
Ruined my moment.
It's a lovely day out, though, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
Did you not enjoy it?
No. I didn't, and I'll tell you why. It's too much walking. No one told me there'd be walking.
Were you on some of the outer courts?
No, how dare you? No, I thought there'd be a golf buggy or some form of transport.
I like the
to
way...
get you between
sedan
each
chair.
court. Yeah.
But I like the way...
With all the ball boys.
Isn't it great the way Wimbledon, though, there's the core, centre court, big flash, and then
Yes.
it deteriorates as it goes. It's like sort of... like a wedding invitation, you know. It's got the people who are at the reception, and then at the people at the outer...
With the listening to speakers.
You see some of those games and you think that's just a park tennis court, isn't it? With like 4 people watching through the wire netting.
Yeah. Well, and it takes so long to get anywhere. I ran into Giles Corran there, and he said, after all this, he said, Bjorn Borg better be playing JFK after the amount of walking we've had. I ended up seeing Roger Federer, though.
Oh.
He was good.
You just, lucky to catch him, though.
And I
Did you call him Federer?
Yeah, Federer.
Federer?
Yeah, Federer. And I saw the the Argentinian who had the cob on. He kicked the advertising
Well,
hoarding.
I didn't.
Oh,
I wasn't watching that. He kicked an advertising order.
Yes, at Queen's a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, I didn't. I'm not really a tennis enthusiast, I'll be honest
not?
with you.
Oh, well, I went to... You know what? I didn't know you had to be so quiet as well, Frank, and I was quite drunk. I'm not going to lie.
Oh,
Were you?
Tim's number one.
No,
Bit of bubbly.
Champagne.
And I got quite raucous. I was a bit like Del Boy at the opera, I'm afraid.
Tennis hooligan.
Or the Simpsons. they were quite good, I remember. Yeah, did you get shushed?
A little bit.
Oh.
There were too many men in blazers, and you know what I decided?
Were you shouting, "Come on, Tim"? You heard someone shout it 6 years ago. I thought, this is what you shout. Come on, Tim.
No, I said, "Go on, Wayne, my son." I believe that's what you shout at sporting events.
No,
Someone told me.
Terrible fool of yours. I had an well, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, would you like to discuss my day at Wimbledon more? Or would you like to hear... You have a choice. The listeners have been texting in about their gullibility.
Oh, and they have.
What would you rather?
Oh, they have.
Well, I don't. I mean, maybe we should put... Although I do want to hear more about Wimbledon, but let's bookmark that and hear what the listeners have got
or
to
put
say.
it on ice.
Yeah?
Yeah, park that, and we'll come back to it later. Park that, somebody said to me the other day in a conversation. Let's park that for now.
I hope I meet them.
It was a management person, unsurprisingly.
Corporates. 801.
They had just given him a car. Tax free. Do you know there's a pothole appeared in the road at the side of my flats? I've driven over it twice this week, and every time I've said thank you, Jimmy Carr, to myself. Carry on.
Yes. 887 says, I told my wife Robin Reliance were invented during World War II because of a rubber shortage. She then told her family.
What a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Great idea.
That is why one of the great Roman Catholic dogmas came during the rubber shortage of the 1940s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the dogma? Oh.
Work it out.
Idiotic Eureka moment for
I do love the question, what's the dogma? I think that should be a new panel show which you should be hosting, Frank, called What's the Dogma?
I think we should do that this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Immaculate Conception. Oft misunderstood.
I have bad
I agree.
eyesight, and one morning whilst waiting at the front of a large queue for the coach to work, my husband said, "Here's the bus." I stick my arm out and try to stop a tractor. Mischievous husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't, so short-sighted, no judgment of speed.
Yeah.
I believed until the age of 17, that's not me, that my dad was telling the truth when he told me that he and his siblings slept in a chest of drawers. That's 546.
Oh, that's a lovely idea, though, and as one of them gets married off, you move up a drawer.
Yeah.
I remember
I can
when...
imagine our Keith maybe crashing out in a chest of drawers a few times.
I'd love to take our... See, that's one of the reasons I'd like to have been a major tennis player, is to put our Keith in the families and friends book. Just to look up, finishing off his 8th pint of mild and trying to get off with Andy Murray's mom. That'd be brilliant. Because they waste the opportunity. They just put like models and that in
those boxes.
It's all very dainty
Do you know,
and civilised.
I
isn't
spent
it?
when Roger was on court. I spent most of the time looking at that box, and I just thought, I wish I was in there. Honestly,
Yeah.
it looks so glamorous, doesn't
His
it?
wife's attractive, isn't she? She's nice. She's lovely.
Oh yeah, she's lovely. Yeah.
I saw a
What a
montage of
surprise.
him playing the other day, and I forgot that he had a ponytail. He's one of those people that you forget had a ponytail.
Roger.
I forgot that.
Roger Federer, you forget he had a ponytail. There's a
Wait.
few like that.
When did he... Who else had a ponytail that I've forgotten about?
Text in on 8 12 15. Peter Ebdon. Peter Ebdon, snooker player. Bald now, but
Yeah.
you forget he had a ponytail.
Yeah, he deserved what he got.
I went hair down at Wimbledon. I got my clothes a
nice.
bit wrong though, Frank. I got the dress code a little bit wrong.
You didn't wear those red leather chaps that Christina Aguilera wore in the Dirty video, and just those tiny red panties that she wore with... Because I went like that one year, they wouldn't let me in centre court. Apparently I clashed with Cliff Richard, who's wearing exactly the same outfit.
Sue Barker's worn that before too.
Oh well, let's see.
No, a little bit overdressed. And I always get it spot on. I'm proud of that.
Well,
I
you
never get
certainly
dress
do,
codes
you
wrong.
certainly
Yeah.
do.
Apparently, 5-inch Louboutin heels, not practical.
No.
Really?
And not appropriate. Court shoes,
No.
that's what you want
Very
for the tennis.
That makes sense, court shoes, of course.
I should have gone for a sneaker, much more casual. A low-key
really?
sundress.
Oh no, I can't see you in a sneaker.
No, it was wrong. I got the dress code very wrong.
Oh God, that's terrible news. Of all the things I don't expect you to get wrong.
I should have gone
anywhere.
blazer, stuck to blazer.
Gorilla costume. They'd be more circumspect with the
costume.
bananas, wouldn't they? The tennis players would be very
they
coy.
would. Yeah.
Stick a gorilla costume on, they'll be looking sideways.
Hot though. Hot. I don't know if you've... I told you, didn't I, when I went to a football match with Tony the Tiger. And he said to me, I'm going to have to lie down. He said, I got heat stroke last week as the Pink Panther.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, did you see the reunion this week? I'm actually going to call it the reunion because there was only one, really.
Capital T, capital R, the
Yes.
reunion.
Yeah, that reunion. It was the Spice Girls.
Oh, yes.
And they'd got together to launch this new musical. It's called Viva Forever, which I thought sounded a little bit sort of like it might be, I don't know, lady section of a chemist. I wasn't sure about that title.
Okay.
But Victoria got quite a hard time, Frank.
I once saw a very attractive young woman in a sushi restaurant called Funky Sushi in Bournemouth. And a lovely view of a disused crazy golf park from the roof terrace.
Lovely.
Which I remember thinking reminded me of my career. There was a sort of clown face covered in moss. Anyway, she was wearing a T-shirt, and she was an attractive girl, but she had a T-shirt that said "Forever Beautiful," and I thought, incorrect.
Oh dear.
I didn't tell her.
No.
Carry on, please.
So he took to that anecdote like a duck to water.
I did.
Well, Victoria got a bit of a hard time. People said she pouted and wore black, but
She
she's in
did, she
fashion.
did.
That's kind of what we do.
No, but
She looked
the
awesome.
rest-
She looked the best.
No, she didn't.
She did.
looked like- I
She
thought
did.
I see why the Spice Girls are here, but why is Edward Scissorhands involved?
Oh, sorry, Grandma Barbie, Jerry Halliwell.
Steady. Jerry
We love
Halliwell
Jerry
is
She's your
without
favourite, he
doubt the
loves
most
her.
attractive of the Spice
Oh, for
Girls.
goodness sake.
Without doubt.
Really?
And
Like Charlie Drake and
she's,
Lace.
she's like a fabulous sexual pendulum. really, because she was a little bit chubby in her early days, and the pendulum swung way over to Yoga Jerry, who was too thin and pinch-faced.
And then she
Not
started
so much-
eating the chocolate cake.
Yeah, she looked,
Again.
yes,
Out
less
of the bins.
yoga
She
and
went
more,
back.
more Yoda is what she looked like. But now she's found the perfect equilibrium between those two, and I think she looks amazing.
Has the sexual pendulum stopped swinging?
I think it probably has.
Well,
now.
I
It's-
like...
don't know if I
I
like
like-
the phrase.
Mine certainly has.
I like VB. He's a Jerry fan. Where do you stand on this?
I like the article that described Victoria
Oh,
as
I
looking...
don't believe that's one of them. You have to choose one.
Oh, no,
Who's your
I-
we're
Who's your
actually
favourite
in
Spice?
2012.
In
We're
terms of-
asking who's your favourite
We
Spice.
have
In
just
terms
made
of
Scooby
attractiveness,
snacks,
in terms of
Frank.
physical attractiveness, probably Baby, I think.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
come on.
She's good looking.
What are you out of your mind?
Good looking in a sort of getting on cabin crew way.
No, that's a bit harsh.
No, but I
can't-
like her.
She's got a...
Well, that's it. I like her. Maybe that's it. Maybe I need to like someone to find them attractive. Is
much-
that a crime in this studio?
I know, but
Come on, guys.
I like a face that if you look at one end of it, from one end, you can see the other end. I imagine her face appearing over the duvet in the morning would be like the sun rising over the Andes.
I thought Mel C looked nice.
They're all
Lovely.
lovely in their own way. That was what's great. It was something for everybody, the Spice Girls.
You're right,
Whatever
Frank.
kind of girl you
Yeah,
see, we've
yeah.
all picked... I remember when Alan Shearer was asked this question in a questionnaire when it was topical. And he said, I'm not prepared to comment on that. I've got a lovely wife and family.
Did he really?
Media training. Never
I
wasted.
should have answered.
Yeah, exactly.
In the article, it describes Victoria as looking like a really sad ninja.
I thought she looked beautiful.
But you never think of ninjas as being happy or sad, do you? You just think
What
of
do
them as ninjas.
I think it was businesslike.
Yeah, exactly. They're efficient.
She just looked out of place. I'm not saying she didn't look...
Yeah, she looked awesome, that's why.
She did. You love her, you.
Did she
I
go
do
for
love
the
her.
meal, or did she reject the meal? They said in one paper that she hadn't gone for the meal. That
I
she...
thought it was Mel C.
I think it was Mel C.
Oh, really?
I suspect it might have been Jerry.
Can I say Jerry's the only one... I've said this before, but she bought me pants when she was a guest on my show.
It's the only reason he likes her.
White Calvin
really?
Kleins. There are a million reasons to like Jerry, but who could look better in Oggs? Maybe Ronnie Wood. It's a touch and go. But no, she bought me. Can I? You know that I was on about the fact that my pants. I've got the elastic going in 7.
Oh, yeah.
They've all got
Oh,
at
yeah.
the same time. There must be a very, very tight time scale on Calvin Klein pants. That they all go more or less at the same age. About 20 years old, it seems to be. And
Do you think it's like the computer manufacturers
I
go
think
for
it
built-in
is. I think
obsolescence?
It is built-in
Yeah.
obsolescence in the past. So I actually put 2 pairs in the bin today because I walked around with them
Did you?
basically around my thighs. And you know,
Oh, Frank.
I'm always very anti-freebies on this show. But if anyone wants to send me any free pants that I can wear, because I can't bring myself to go into a shop and buy pants because I think it'll be
That's
on
going to be a
Twitter.
nice job for us sorting through those.
Well, I meant pants that haven't been worn.
Yeah.
I don't mean like Tom Jones frilly knicker type pants.
No.
Not that I don't mean Tom Jones wears those. I mean he gets them thrown at him. Anyway, I'm calling out for pants.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a few texts from the outside world. Spot on, Frank. Jerry is by far the most sensual. Cheers, Will 417.
I love the sleaziness of that.
I just love we're doing the My Favourite Spice Girl thing so after the fact.
We've had ponytail ? The great man himself, David Seaman. Now that's exactly my point. Nobody's forgotten that David Seaman had a
No,
ponytail.
no.
Everybody
But it's
knows
a nice
that.
stitch back to Naive from the half-white line.
Absolutely.
I have to say, by the way, of the Spice Girls, that I don't think any of them are as attractive as the Cheeky Girls.
What?
Do you?
I think the Cheeky Girls are extremely underestimated as physical beings.
Not by Lembit Opik, they're not.
Well, even he now probably looks back with a certain amount of chagrin.
Mm-hmm.
But I do. I think they're proper.
What is it
lovely.
you like about them, Frank?
Well, I think they.
Their cheekiness.
Yeah, they look. I had a bit of an incident actually, a Cheeky Girls based incident this week. Maybe after the news.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, and I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215, and you can follow us on Twitter at Frank on Absolute.
You left us hanging on something of a string there earlier.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll check this out with you. I did a voiceover for a documentary about Fairport Convention this week.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, God, that is...
And me. What are the chances?
And none of us knew that the lottery logo was a smiling face.
There you go. So go on.
So I went to the studios, and at the studio, I noticed as I walked up the floors to the top floor where the voice studio was, that it's the home of the African channel, which I've never heard of before. So when I got in, I said, I
I'm a little bit nervous about where
it's
this might be going.
I feel the tension in
a little
the
bit
air as well.
nervous.
yeah.
The station controller has come in.
It's okay. Well, test it. So we... when I got in, I said, I've never heard of the African channel, and I surf the channels on a regular basis. And the bloke said, oh, yeah, and he pressed the thing, and their logo came up, and it had these two very beautiful African women looking identical, standing next to each other. And I said, oh, man, are they like the African cheeky girls? I said, sort of, touch my drum. And it all went silent. And I thought, surely...
Yeah, it will do.
Touch my drum is a perfectly acceptable pun, isn't it?
What was the song that it's put on? Is it
an idiotic Eureka moment live on air?
Touch my bum? Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's two I've done on air today. I'm really stupid.
What did you think it was a pun on?
I just couldn't remember.
What else could you touch? What else could you touch that rhymed with drop? Oh. No, yeah, anyway. It turned out it was actually the same African woman twice. It was a bit of trick photography, so it was a bit of an idiotic Eureka moment on my own.
I'd like to get off the subject, actually.
What, of the cheekies?
Yeah.
The
all of
cheekies,
it.
now, they did that thing which is, I think, the grimmest showbiz phenomenon. The personal appearance.
Oh, yeah.
When you're paid simply to appear.
Oh, they like a cheque, those two.
Do they?
I mean,
well,
for
they are
personal
East European.
I mean, for a personal appearance, Frank.
I don't blame them. They've got to, they're quite expensive. Those very, very tight hot pants.
And those heels with the perspex in them.
Yes, they used to wear those heels see-through with live goldfish in them.
Did they?
Yeah, like big block heels.
Don't, because I'll believe this. I'm very gullible. That is a fib, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a fib.
Oh, okay. I was starting to think, what if they went up steps? Surely that would make the goldfish feel a bit disorientated.
They're hardy creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, they travel around in those small plastic bags on string all the time.
They do, yeah. Didn't you have a goldfish for ages? Didn't I once say that my goldfish lived for a long time, but you've got a really... Is it you?
No, it's not me.
Somebody I know had a goldfish that lived for 25 years.
Yeah, well, it wasn't me, all right?
All right.
I like that you thought it might have been Frank.
I had the very opposite experience. A woman moved in with me some years ago, and she brought her aquarium with lots of little tropical fish in, and for a bit of a lark, I was on Camden Market, and I saw some plastic tropical fish, and I thought I'll get off with these, put them in, and that'll confuse her.
Yeah.
And I did that, and the next morning every fish was dead.
Oh, Frank.
I never explained it, and she tearfully scooped them out, and I could see the plastic ones amidst the corpses, and they were never identified. And now I've given the game away, actually. She might listen to this.
You got away with that.
Well, not
genocide.
now. I just realised I've just said it on air. Oh, God.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I wanted to ask you if you've resisted temptation this week. I've been very proud of myself. I nearly bought more trainers this week, and I do not need trainers. I've got a lot of pairs of trainers, and I really like buying trainers. You know that, do you?
I've seen a few pairs on you.
Yeah, I'm quite the footwear peacock, I like to think. Yeah.
Are you known as that locally?
Yeah.
I think that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
That's what you've got
I only ever hear it from the
across your
distance,
van.
but I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying.
Known footwear peacock.
Yeah. But I was about to buy myself some, and I thought, no, you don't need these, Alan. Just stop yourself. But I do like buying it. It's a nice feeling, getting new trainers. And I thought... But then they'll just be in a cupboard with loads of other trainers or wardrobe.
Which ones were they?
There were some Adidas Originals. That's my... If I wear shoes, it's usually Clark's Originals, but I'm a Adidas Originals person.
You're not overlapping my pants appeal. You're right.
UK 10, if they're interested.
Let's not. No. Let's not cloud the
the UK 10, you say?
Yeah.
Lovely.
I think that's the same size as my pants.
Old slender hips. Skinner over there.
Exactly. Snaky hipped I am.
He is lovely and
I've still got the
snaky hipped.
scales.
Yeah. That was one of the things that first attracted Kath to him. The fact that he had snaky hips and the fact that he was immaculate.
Yeah, he's very clean.
Always very clean.
Absolutely spotless, I believe, is what she said.
I'm not buying clothes at the moment. I'm waiting. I'm at one of those stages that people get to. I'm waiting until this belly goes before I buy any clothes.
Oh,
I'm not
Why
going to buy
don't
any
you buy
more.
an incentiviser outfit? I do that sometimes.
Yeah, Target jeans.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
No, don't go to that store.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
that.
spend a bit more than that.
The thing is, I've been waiting 3 years now to get to a point where I think I'm slim enough to go out and buy some new clothes.
Can I ask something?
Anything.
Where
No, I mean anything.
is the area of concern? Is it just above the waistband?
Well, I managed to pull it up so it's just above the waistband, and it sits there like Humpty Dumpty on a wall. But it's just generally, my little plum figure.
You've got a lovely figure.
No, as I've said before, I look like one of those snakes that swallowed a goat.
I think you've got a lovely figure.
Well, thank you. I think you've got a lovely figure too. God, it's all getting a bit steamy.
Hey, guys.
I'll tell you what, I've got plenty of suits. Because as I've said to you before, every time I present a TV show, they give me a suit.
Nice.
I mean, I could say, it's all right, I've got suits, I'll bring my own. Oh, no way, Jose. I've got so many suits now, I've started using them as pyjamas. I sometimes sleep in an Oswald Boateng.
Well, to be fair, that is going back to the 80s.
It is when they've basically doubled as pyjamas most of the time. Yeah, so I'm all right for that. But things that I've got plenty of that I don't need any more of. Boiled sweets I'm overdoing.
Oh, really?
Well, this morning there was we've got a lot of free lollies in the studio.
Yeah.
And they're very handy for radio, I've discovered, because you can be halfway through a lolly, it's your turn to speak, and of course it's on a stick.
Yeah.
So you can take it out, do your link, and then put the lolly back in. But when I did a voiceover for a documentary about Fairport Convention this week,
Oh, yeah.
I got to the studio and they had a bowl of boiled sweets on the counter. And I thought, I'm having some of them. It was toffees.
Nice.
Did you take a handful,
I
then?
took a good handful.
Oh, like an arcade claw.
And
Your hand went in like a claw.
There was
Pop them in your suit pocket.
They were a good band.
Arcade claw. Yeah.
And there's an attractive young woman behind the counter, as there always is in these edit suites. And I said, I'm sorry, I said, you get over 50 and you don't look at the attractive woman, you just look at the boiled sweets. And I thought I thought I saw a shimmer of pain go across her face. So that was just before Touch My Drum. So I was on a roll.
Frank
Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Adidas trainers that I was talking about a minute ago. UK 10. Alun Cochrane
Please.
UK 10.
If they come, I'm burning them.
Well, they got themselves in a little bit of hot water last week with some...
My pants got themselves in a bit of hot water last week.
Thank God it was about time.
Yeah, but now they're in the bin where they belong.
Well, so are these. The Adidas people came up with a trainer that had slave-style shackles.
I saw those.
Oh, yes.
There was
Did
a
you see them?
brouhaha.
Yes.
There was.
There was people saying they look like slaves' cuffs.
But I didn't
cuffs,
see them
not
as...
cuffs.
What happens is that there's like a chain that comes off the trainer and then there's a shackle that goes
Remember, it's
around
the
your
shackle.
ankle above the trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bright orange in
Yeah,
colour.
it's no different from the average high street bank pen situation.
Yeah.
I thought they looked a bit Lindsay Lohan.
It's so
and there's
nobody...
nothing wrong with that.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't see them as African slave shackle. I think, we in the S&M community...
Oh, my God!
I find that quite offensive.
God!
I'd wear them. No, I mean, you
Would
can't...
you?
Yeah,
That would be great
shackles.
with one of your many free suits.
It would, yeah, with
Adidas booties with
Oh, you'd be thinking, what?
Oh,
under or over. It'd be that decision, wouldn't it?
He might. Imagine if he teams it with the cloak. Oh, God.
What would be nice is if you wore them under. Then when I sat and did my leg cross thing, that would just show a bit of shackle.
It'd just be a little slither of shackle.
Oh God, that'd be brilliant.
The cloak rustling around the chains.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I could have the whole thing chained onto me.
Yeah.
Like the old weighing machines outside the chemists.
Yeah.
All chained up.
I mean, I wouldn't wear them because I'd be worried that, you know, when you're sitting and paying attention to something else, that a prankster could... You know that trick where people tie your shoelaces together?
Oh, yeah.
If you've got shackles and they quickly undo them and then clip them together, you could really have a nasty fall, couldn't you? You know what I mean? You're looking very confused at this idea.
Yeah, I think you could... I once, for a joke, tied Tom Cruise's shoelaces together.
Oh, God.
He walked 3.5 miles before he'd noticed. So, no,
we in the S&M community. You actually said that.
While we get, as we're on to the subject of slave shackles, can I tell you about another thing I'm slightly unsure about?
Yeah.
God.
Is that when I carry my baby Buzz up and down to try and get him, if he cries,
Yes.
I walk up and down singing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice, Frank.
Yeah, it is. It's lovely. But what he particularly likes an old-fashioned spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm worried about doing the voice.
Right.
Oh, I see what you said.
I mean, there's no one else around, but, you know, Old Man Ribber, that old man Ribber. It's borderline.
Yeah.
Can I say, as I've moved into my 50s, Old Man Ribber is actually my condom of choice.
This is the most extraordinary link you've ever
I'm sorry, I've gone down the
history of the show.
I knew the 3-hour show would push me over the edge. I warned you people.
His controller is downstairs.
What? From Thomas the Tank Engine? Has he lost a bit of weight?
It's good to see that parenthood has quickly changed all your reference points rapidly.
Exactly. I think it's the vibrations in the diaphragm that he likes. That's the great thing about spiritual. Maybe we'll play some music.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had a couple of people text in suggesting Andre Agassi also used to have a ponytail and went the way of Peter Ebdon.
That is true.
He's one of the ones that did Ronnie O'Sullivan
He's
have
a
a
very,
ponytail?
very nice man, though, Andre Agassi.
Is he?
Very,
I
very
like him.
nice man.
Yeah, I like him.
Very good autobiography.
No, he's a very, very nice man.
He's a
Andre
very, very
Agassi.
nice man.
Oh, well.
Okay.
What on earth is going on?
It was an AA joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frank, there's a little bit of Edward Lear news hot off the press.
Well, that's good. I know what this is.
Did you read about this?
It was a book that was sold, wasn't it? Which
Yes.
Edward Lear's poetry. Edward Lear wrote
Owned-
nonsense verse.
Yes.
Right.
Owned by Ronnie Barker. But it turned out, it was sold at auction for some phenomenal amount, but it turned out that Ronnie Barker had wrote his own improvements on the lyrics,
I
hadn't he?
love that. He'd taken every sort of poem and improved them, made them funnier.
Had he really?
Just written on the book in ink.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
It was
great.
excellent.
I think that's a fabulous thing to do.
It's quite a you thing to do, actually.
Well, I'm always looking to... Don't you watch things on the telly and think, that'd be much better if... Don't
What
you
sort
ever
of
do
thing?
that? I mean, like the X Factor, wouldn't it be better if everyone who does it... Because what I don't like is you can lose the X Factor, you can be fourth and do better than the winner. And the whole sense of competition becomes ridiculous. It takes all the excitement out of you.
It's the Gareth Gates syndrome, yeah.
Yeah, So JLS never won, but they did really well, etc., etc. I think everyone who's set the winner at the end of the competition should be in their contract. They have to have their vocal cords removed. So then the winner is the winner. They won't take it on. I once... it's like little things, like the royal wedding. I've
royal
always
wedding.
said this. If Kate had driven the sports car instead
would have
of
been
Wells, that would have been like a real modern thing to do, that the woman drove the car.
And if Wills had just had a teeny little syrup on his head,
Yeah.
just a small syrup.
Well, he could. If she'd have been driving, he could have held a lacy parasol. None of us would
To
have
cover
known.
the ball patch.
Yeah.
But as you pointed out, Frank, what percentage did it take off the day?
I think I said it's about I think, was it 5%?
I think 5%, about at least 5.
Didn't ruin it.
His
I
bald
enjoyed-
patch?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
enjoyed the wedding, but it was a thorn in my shoe.
Oh, well.
Is
A
saw,
shackle.
here's an I saw Paul McCartney live. Right, I've seen him twice, and he's brilliant.
Congratulations.
He's brilliant live. Brilliant. I would recommend anyone who thinks of Paul McCartney. You see him live, and he's amazing. But if I was the producer of his show, I'd
Yeah.
say, look, the skeleton in your cupboard, Paul, that people always bring up when they're trying to slag you off,
Yeah.
is the frog chorus. Why don't you do a version of the frog chorus that's really sort of dark and rocky and really people would laugh at first and think, actually, this is brilliant. Now, as I arrived today, Ronnie Wood's guitar is still in the... I think
How
it's
marvellous.
Ronnie Wood's
Well, I think it is Ronnie Wood's because it's slightly goth
It is.
in appearance.
And it was in an OG case.
with a packet of Rothmans sticking out.
I once had a dinner. I was at a dinner with...
Can I just say, Frank is... You playing the guitar, I'm finding it rather alluring.
I haven't worked out the tuning, so this might... But
I didn't know you were so good.
But if I was... Well, I'm just holding... Anyway, so I don't know what the tuning is on this. It's an obscure Ronnie Wood blues tuning. But if it would be something like this... Win or lose, sink or swim, one thing is certain, we'll never give in. Side by side, hand in hand, we all stand together. Play the game, fight the fight. But what's the point on a beautiful night? Arm in arm and hand in hand, and we all stand together. I think it would bring the house down.
I might clap that. I loved it so much.
Yeah. You did a laugh slightly like a seal at one point there. Ironically, during the frog chorus.
Yeah, exactly.
Kill all the amphibian creatures.
all the Marines were out. And the obvious thing, I think we probably all think when we've watched Euro 12, the obvious improvement would be to the footballers, don't sing along with the national anthem.
No.
Dance.
Oh, that would be great.
Just do it. I mean, let yourself go. Imagine a little slow sort of samba to the God Save the Queen thing.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I woke up under a blue light this morning.
Oh,
Not for the-
1987.
Not for the first time. No, I've rented the TARDIS.
Oh.
No, I've had quite a bit of mosquito trouble this week.
Oh, Frank.
And I've got a sort of sonic plug type thing that you put in your socket. And
Do they
supposed to
work,
frighten them.
though?
I've
I
no
don't
idea.
think
But
they do.
they generate a blue light. It was like being old George Dixon. Dixon of Dock Green.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, evening all. Remember they used to start that? There's one when he says, you know, there's nothing worse than a bent copper.
When you said
I beg
remember...
to differ.
Well, he had a lot of trouble with vending machines, George Dixon. Sorry. What were you going to say,
I was
Alan?
going to say, when you say remember, it is Dixon of Dock Green, and I'm only 37.
Yeah.
I think it's... I'm not even sure if it is...
Do you know what? I know quite a bit about Alexander the Great.
Yeah, but you said remember. That would have been learned, wouldn't it? You don't remember Alexander the Great, do you?
Well, it's funny you should say that. I remember a
I
TV
do.
show called Alexander the Great
well, that's different.
about a young Jewish boy whose sister was played by Adrienne Poster, a girl I had a big crush on when I was a young child. Moving on!
Moving on.
So, meanwhile, over at your gaff, your
Yeah,
rules
so I'll wake up under the blue
with
light.
the mosquito.
You can get an orange light one as well, but I thought like I would be sleeping on the display counter of an eat-all-you-can restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
So I decided...
Oh, don't get red.
I
I
got
like
a
that.
bite on my... I had a few bites this week in the bed from a...
Oh, me too.
No, but this was from an insect. And it was... I woke up and it bit me on the eye, on the sort
I'm
of
glad
top
you
of...
said that.
Yeah. And, well, I have a photo here, which
Have
is
you?
always good on radio. I took a photo on my iPhone.
Oh, can I have a little look-see?
Can I say other phones are available?
Are you doing that thing of not wanting me to scroll through in case I find something...
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, my God!
Yes, exactly.
Wow, that... We thought this wouldn't work on radio, but very dramatic. Very dramatic
it
response.
looks,
Awful.
yes. And it was...
Dear, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on all sorts. And what I've been doing this week...
You look like you've been beaten up.
Well, I have been beaten up by the insect world.
Well, all right. You look like you've been beaten up by something bigger than the insect world,
I
like
know.
the human world.
It was
You must
horrible.
have very alluring blood.
Yes,
Yeah, oh, they love me.
that's
They
what
do.
I've always thought about you, Frank.
Yeah.
You must
so
have
what
very
I've
alluring
been
blood.
sleeping, very topical in Wimbledon week. What I bought, this electric tennis racket for bog. You swing it at them, pressing the button, it electrocutes them. You hit them with the thing. So
That's quite a humane death, quite a middle-class death.
So if I hear any zzz in the night, I start waving my tennis racket in the dark, just aimlessly around. I thought a marvellous symbol of British tennis since the war.
I'm concerned
Why?
because you just said if you hear zzz in the night, which basically is another way of saying if I hear a buzz in the night, I hit it with a tennis racket.
No, well,
No,
that's certainly-
just be careful.
It hasn't come to that
Be
yet.
careful.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Mary Drainer has emailed an email that is entitled "Lollies and Hard-Boiled Sweets!"
My
and,
kind of email.
And basically, I'll give you the brief version of it. Frank, those are the worst things for your teeth. They last so long and your teeth are coated in sugar for a long period of time. Caps lock. Avoid lollies.
There's a lot of caps lock.
Oh, she's basically warning you there.
Well, thank you for that. I'm imagining she's a dental nurse. What's her name? Floss?
Her job...
Her name is actually Mary Drainer.
Mary Drainer. Well, she's already drained me, I must say, with a rather stern approach to confectionery.
Her job was, for 14 and a half years, was teaching children about tooth decay prevention and
well,
dental
she's
education.
the person up and down till they're clean and sparkling. I bet she played them that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You
Well,
could
have you
play
seen-
it. You
if
could
you-
do
if-
another musical number for us.
If you'd seen my teeth, Ms. Drainer, you'd know that there's no hope for them anyway. But somebody offered me the other week a cheap Venus flytrap. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Were you in Soho again?
No, it was by email.
Oh, was it?
The
Oh, yeah.
florist.
So many things that we haven't collected for you.
And I'm wondering, would they take a mosquito, a Venus flytrap?
Oh, yeah, you could get...
Oh, that'd be
You
good.
could have a bedroom full of them.
But the trouble is that a Venus flytrap has a sort of sticky, polleny type thing that attracts, bees and flies.
Yeah.
Flies mainly, obviously, hence the name.
Uh-huh.
But that's not what mosquitoes go for. What you need is to put a little bit of black pudding in there. Now smell the blood, and so I might try that.
Oh, I thought you meant because it was a northern thing and then they'd think it was you.
I was in the spare room when it happened, so leaving my girlfriend to watch the baby that night because I was working the next day. So I'm thinking it might have been planted there by someone from Mum's Net, remember the tarantula in Doctor No that they put in James Bond's bedroom.
Yeah.
Horrible. That's one of my worst ever film scenes.
Is it?
Oh, God, it gives me the absolute shudders thinking about it. I'm going to stop thinking about it. You know what I'm going to think about?
Try not to, yeah.
I'm going to think about what's on next, and it's Sarah Champion coming up after this. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. It's been lovely talking to you guys and listening to your texts being read out. So it went quite well until at the end it sort of fell away.
It's slightly slowed down, but that's okay.
Okay, it's still the adverts.
Absolute
Absolute
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.